Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your March soul session. I'm Princess India. If you are new and if you're family, welcome back, my friend, and whatnot, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, anywho, we're going to go ahead and jump into you guys' cards first. We're going to be, looking at an overall energy as well as a challenge. And then we're going to be getting into, let me move my mouse, a more specific spread that's kind of looking at what it is that's going on for you all for the month of March. I'm looking at these cards because I'm debating. Two cards came out, and I'm debating on, I think I'm going to pull another challenge card. Let's go with this one. And let me go ahead and pick your cards for the other spread for continuity and whatnot or whatever. I hope you guys are doing fine, Taurus. I hope, I would say having a good March, but I know most of you are going to end up watching this before it's March. So I just hope things are going fine, my fellow Taurians. So anywho, for our overall energy, we have the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse and the Tower. Interesting. So what that's kind of looking like for me, Taurus, is and I don't know, I've been on a clarifying spree. I don't want to use that deck. I want to use this one. Let's be extra. What this is looking like for me, Taurus, is in the month of March, it is imperative to guard your finances. Okay. Every time this year, I always say this, it's tax season, so don't get a little too crazy, cuckoo bananas excited with your tax money to where, the end of March comes and, you ain't got nothing left. You know what I'm saying? So seeing this in accordance with this tower here is more or less saying to me, it's a forewarning. Let me just be honest. Okay. It's a forewarning pretty much of there's a high cost chance. Okay. And I mean, we're about to get into our season. You know what I'm saying? Like, with this time frame, like I'm not saying like Taurus season, but I mean we're getting close to Taurus season, but I'm saying in the sense of like March is just our month period. That's when we start to kind of come out of hibernation, so you want to make sure that you're not going to ape, whether that's with your taxes or just with your money in general, just because with the seasons kind of changing, we can kind of get into that headspace of, wanting to do a lot of self-care. A lot of that's coming from the Virgo full moon in March, so just kind of wanting to splurge on yourself. So watch that. But I feel this is more or less an energy that's hovering over everyone that's a Taurus in the month of March. That's a forewarning in the sense that it's telling you if you were not to guard your finances, something, I don't want to say like horrible or tragic could happen, but I mean, it's more or less something unexpected happening, like an unexpected expense or expenses. I just heard my guide say expenses. So it's unexpected expenses. So more or less, it's like having a nest egg of money, whether that's your savings account or that's your taxes, and more or less something happening that's completely unexpected or a series of unfortunate events happening. And I mean, this could be anything from like your car breaking down to, I don't know, you break a tooth or something like that. And if you hadn't spent the money the way that you did, like kind of frivolously, then you would have had that kind of nest egg to carry you over. For some of you guys, this could even be speaking to starting an emergency savings account. I don't know why more adults don't have those. I mean, I understand that, sometimes it's a paycheck to paycheck thing, but I mean, even if you're just saving $10 out of every paycheck, that's still something. You know what I'm saying? I think like if you save, I don't do math, by the way. I think if you save like $25 a month for like a year, that's like 300 something dollars. You know what I'm saying? Don't judge me. I'm from Louisiana. We have the worst school system. I don't math. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and clarify this. Just because holy spadoodles. No, we are not taking all them cards, child. That's like 7 cards that came out. We're not doing that today. Let me get one more card to get the, sorry for shuffling in your ear, Taurus. Make this a little more specific. But I really feel this is money stuff talking here. Oh, well, hello. Constancy. Oh, good Lord. And love in the reverse. Okay. Interesting. Love in the reverse that I wasn't. Oh, never mind. Mm. Okay. Okay, so that's a whole thing. That just became a whole thing. Okay, so I'm gonna say this two ways. Um, Taurus. So this is story number one. If you guys have been doing really good with your finances, right? Like meaning that you've been saving, right? Sitting money to the side, or you've been budgeting, you haven't been overspending, keep that up, right? Because I do still feel that there is something kind of unexpected that will happen. But with this constancy card, this is more or less about if I were to put it in narrative form, it's like the end of like long suffering, right? So it's more or less this tower would end up becoming an event that marks a epic shift in your timeline or life narrative in a sense. So hypothetically, every time prior to 2024, Taurus has never saved, you've never had a nest egg, you've never had an emergency savings, right? Even though this shocking event that costs money happens, you actually have the money to cover it. And it's more or less like this feeling that you get from this. It's like, oh my gosh, that feels really nice. Like for, my battery to go out and for me to know that I have this money stacked to the side and I'm able to just go buy a new battery as opposed to not, having a car for a couple of days until I'm able to save up money to get a new battery type of deal. And that kind of changes the mindset more or less. So March is kind of like a juncture, if you will, where there's an epic shift for you guys, right? Now, on the other side of this is literally like a breakup, but this is not like a breakup. I don't feel that it's just like a couple that's together, right? This feels to me more like a couple that has like kids or a couple that lives together. You know what I'm saying? But the only thing with this, oh man, Taurus is making me think about y'all's reading from January. The only thing with this is I feel like someone doesn't know though. And I don't know if that's Taurus that doesn't know, which is a little concerning. But if I pull back from this reading that I did for you guys in January, it was Taurus that was making this plan of escape. It's like Taurus was making this plan to leave your partner. And I don't remember if this was in the soul session or if this was in the love reading, the connection session, but it was pretty much a Taurus who was like plotting their escape in a situation. Now, looking at this with the little constancy card, right? And this being the ending of long suffering, this would more or less be saying to me that this nest egg that Taurus, oh man, this is something. It would more or less be saying to me that every time I do these overall energies, it always makes my life complicated, I swear, because I'm just like, Lord, if the overall energy is like this, what is the whole spread going to look like? But anyway, so this is more or less saying to me, this would be a Taurus person who's either married to someone or you're in a committed relationship with someone that you live with. You guys have kids together. Over a set period of time, you've been saving money to leave this person. This person does not know. This is the same story from January. This person does not know. And in the month of March would be the month that you would be breaking up with them and leaving or filing for divorce and leaving in so many words. So this ending to this long suffering would be more, for Taurus. But I feel like your person doesn't know. Worst case scenario with this would be, but I doubt that because I don't really know where that would help anyone. Um, Worst case scenario would be is that this is happening to Taurus, but I in my history of being on YouTube, I've never had that happen of me being the bearer of bad news of like, hey, your partner's about to leave you. You know what I'm saying? Anything's possible, but I feel this is more confirmation for the Taurus. Ciao. That's scenario number 2. Okay, so the challenge, oh God. The challenge is the 2 of Cups. So these are the soul sessions. This is not supposed to be a love reading. So yeah, the challenge is going to be actually breaking away from this. If I were to say this on the other side, for the person where this is about the money thing, the challenge would be more or less and I'm just saying this, I mean, for shits and giggles, y'all. This is really looking like this is talking about a couple, but I'm going to go with it. So, if this is a single Taurus person, this is talking about money. This is more or less when this, shocking event happens and, luckily you have the money saved for it and you're able to get your new battery for your car. The whole key moving forward is going to be making sure that you're getting back to a place of balance, because it's more or less you saved up the money, you spent it. The goal is really going to be building that savings back up. There, I said it. Okay. So back to this whole love situation. The whole how did this become a love thing? Anyway, so the whole challenge is going to be more or less creating a sense of stability for yourself, recovering from said situation. If there's kids involved, it's more or less, and I don't know, this became a whole thing. It more or less feels like coping with the backlash, if you will, from this situation. Because, gosh, why is this happening? This is a whole thing. Okay. My own sign. Okay. So I'm just going to tell you guys what I'm picking up on. So what it is that I'm picking up on here, Taurus, is okay, there's kids involved. You're making a decision to leave out of this particular situation. I don't feel like kids would know, because I mean, what parent tells their kids this? But I do feel there's going to be some sense of emotional disruption with this, because of course there's the whole scenario with this person. I feel like I need to clarify this too, because it's all the stuff that I'm feeling. This is just making me feel some type of way about all of this. Not about you deciding to leave this person. It's just the energy I'm picking up on. It feels like, I don't know, like, I don't want to say backlash, but it feels like backlash. Like almost like, if I stick with the scenario with the kids, it's like Taurus has made this plan for months to leave this particular person. The kids have no idea. And I mean, if your kids are like babies, then, they're not going to know anything different. But I mean, if you have kids that are like adolescents or teenagers, and it's kind of like, hey, we're not going home today. And it's like, what do you mean? And it's like, mommy has a new apartment and we're going to go to the new apartment. We're not going home to daddy anymore. It's like, I feel almost like a emotional disruption with that and of course, I feel like the Taurus person would be prepared for this. However, I feel like the backlash you would get, you didn't necessarily prepare for. So there's some element of that. On the other side of this, I feel this like with the person that you would be leaving, which is a little more concerning for me, because it's like, once again, you are prepared that this is going to be shocking for this person and you expect them to react a certain way. It's like, I just feel that the reaction that you get is not going to be the one that you've prepared for, and that kind of hitting your left field. I'm going to clarify this because I need to know more, because that's just a little unsettling for me. Ciao, this is interesting. Okay, come on, cards. Why are you sticking? Can I clarify this 2 of Cups, please? This is interesting. Okay, here we go. Oh, child, this is a whole divorce out here in these streets. That's the wedding in the reverse. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and just call it. Yeah. So this is January Soul Session. If you're new here, and this is your first time watching my video, I don't know if the title got to you, or you just, I kept showing up on your timeline. I've been doing that a lot lately, I hear. Back in January, I did a reading, and it was this scenario. It was a Taurus person, and it was my connection sessions. So these were the ones who came out the latter part of January, if you want to go back and watch that. But this feels like the same scenario. There also was similar themes to this that came out in Scorpio as well, if that's relevant for you. But this Two of Cups is clarified by the wedding in the reverse. So, I mean, we have 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. We have Two of Cups in the reverse. We have the wedding in the reverse. We have love in the reverse here. Okay. Tower, So this is literally looking like a divorce. Like I said, the only other energy that this would be in, because I feel like the energy signatures of those are the same, is if you have a long-term romantic partner and the two of you live together and you have kids. I definitely feel like there's kids involved in this, but more or less the entire overall energy for March, as well as the challenge for the month, is going to be leaving this person, financial issues tied to that. And even though I feel like, I get it, because I feel like for the Taurus person, this has not been an easy or happy type of relationship. So I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that there's anything wrong with leaving. It's just the heads up I have to give is there's some element of this to where what it is that you're planning. And I don't know, this is weird. It almost feels to me almost like the reading I talked about in January. I was saying a lot about the person that Taurus was going to leave, like them just being stunned and shocked. And it's almost like the equivalent of coming home from work and the entire house being empty type of vibe. But the thing that's so strange with this Taurus is it feels to me almost like the reverse, if I could say it that way. Not saying that you're planning on leaving the person and the person is also planning on leaving you. It's not that. It's just and it kind of melds into that first message for me. Like I was saying about people not in a relationship and it being like kind of something unexpected coming. It's like, I don't know, there's some other element to this to where everything that you've planned for, it's like something that you've overlooked or something that you didn't see. So it's almost feeling as if like Taurus would feel like you have a foolproof plan, right? But it's something that you've overlooked, and this thing that you've overlooked or that you've overestimated or something, it's like that thing coming back to kind of shock you. So my big takeaway from that would be is to just not, and not saying that you are like this, but I'm just going to say it for lack of better words, is just make sure you're not overconfident. Can I just say that? Make sure that you're not overconfident about this, because there's some element with this to where you would feel as if you've crossed every T and dotted every I, but you haven't, because it's like something's going to happen in reference to this. But just with all these clarifying cards here, this heavily feels like a romantical type of thing to me, or that being the big. And the only other thing I could say with this is we're about to get into the more specific spread is the only other thing that, because this is what it is. So this scenario isn't changing. The only other thing I could see how this would relate to Taurus if this is happening in close proximity to you. I don't think there's people. No, I think the youngest people who watch my channel are like 25. And I think there's like 2 people that are like 18 or something that watch my channel. But so, because I was thinking, I was like, could it be like a kid and this is happening with your parents? You know what I'm saying? But it would have to be something in close proximity. And unless, no, I couldn't even really see that either. Because I was like thinking maybe like if you have like your mom's in her like 60s or something, or your dad is in his like 60s or 70s, and like your parents are like, your mom or dad is thinking about leaving the other one. And this is just kind of like background fodder that's happening. You know what I'm saying? And this overall energy is just here because this is an energy that's going to consume a great deal of Taurus's time. Or if maybe your best friend, like if your best friend is going through this or something, that's the only other way I could see this. But this energy looks like it is what it just is. You feel what I'm saying? But anywho, getting into the other spread, We're looking at your central energy, past influence, your above energy, which is pretty much a potential future outcome, your hidden influences and what to look out for moving forward. And the central energy representing you, oh my word, is the Seven of Wands. Okay, come on. All right, there we go. Is the Seven of Wands, your past influence. Oh my God, what is going on, Taurus? It's the Ten of Cups. What is happening in America? Child, y'all gonna have to tell me in the comments what is going on, because this is tea. This is a whole thing. Okay, so your potential outcome, wow, the Nine of Wands in the reverse, your hidden influence. Holy God, the Seven of Swords, bro, Taurus. And what to watch out for moving forward. Oh my God. We have Aries energy with the Magician in the reverse. Bro, look. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. I really don't. This is a whole thing. Wow. Okay. Okay. Your recent past being the Ten of Cups in the reverse. So this, again, like the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, this is a breakdown in the family unit. I'll still stick with the scenario of two different people, that of either this is a Taurus person where this is happening in close proximity to you, or this is literally a Taurus in your relationship. So it's either someone really close to Taurus has a family that's falling apart, or a marriage that's breaking apart, or this is literally happening to Taurus, right? So in your recent past, that's all the energy. You know what I'm saying? It's literally like this ideal, picture perfect kind of scenario, like something that had this veneer of perfection, if you will, that has crumbled, whether for Taurus or for someone that Taurus cares about or is in close proximity to. Like, you know, like I can't even find words. I'm so shocked right now, dude. Like, my flabber is gasted. Okay. My flabber is literally gasted. Like, the energy I'm picking up on, dude, is the equivalent of like a picture perfect, like almost Instagram, Facebook type family situation where almost people would idealize this couple and everything seems perfect, and it's like poof, pow, surprise, like, yeah, you know, we're getting a divorce, or I left them. And it's like the vibe I feel is like it's hella shocking. It's almost like a bubble being popped or something like that, because it's just like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? But now, from a perspective of this being actually Taurus, this is more or less like the straw that broke the camel's back. So it very well could be, if Taurus had a plan to leave this person, and say like you had a plan to leave them in 6 months to a year, it's almost like something happening to where it's kind of forcing your hand to move quicker than you expected to. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's like I'm saying with this whole linear type of thing, and this is something, like, believe it or not, dude, like this is something I see happen more than, I mean, unless you're a therapist and you see married couples. But I think more often than any human being really should, it's like, and I even say with my friends too, whenever I've known any human that's ever been in a relationship and wanted to leave someone, and they had like a strategic action plan on getting out of the situation, I really look at it as like divine intervention, really. It's like, logically, they're like, there's no way for me to get out of this situation any sooner than a year, or we need to wait for little Johnny to get to high school, and you know, by that time, then it'll be easier for me to leave. But every time I've ever seen a person attempt to do that, there's always been some tower moment, like some just random, unforeseeable blow up, exposure, some type of thing that happens to where that person is, like, cannot go back home, cannot be around the person anymore, and it's almost like they're thrust into leaving. That's kind of like the vibe I'm getting. It's almost like something hitting the fan in February, or I wouldn't even go as far as January. I would say like February. That's kind of like forcing your hand, if I could say it that way. You know what I'm saying? But I feel almost like this is happening for your betterment, Taurus, as crazy as that may sound, because with the 7 of Wands being the energy that's representing you guys, that's like an energy, like you do have the upper hand in the situation, but it's almost feeling like you're attacked. So what that would look like for me, more or less, is like people around you, almost like, whether it's like parents or friends that are like, oh, why you want to leave this person? And I know my dudes be saying in the comments, I'm always saying stuff from girls' perspectives, and it's like, oh bro, why you want to leave her? Like, she's so bad, dog, right? I guess that's how dudes talk to each other. I have no idea. But it's like people giving their opinions. And to be honest with you, dude, I'm trying not to be the I am a narc specialist. Let's just be honest. I say that all the time. But I don't want to become like the official narc specialist, only therapist that reads tarot cards on YouTube, but also talks about narcissism all the time. I feel like that right now because of the whole Risa Tisa TikTok thing. If you guys knew how many people have messaged me to ask me for what my opinion is of diagnoses, y'all, it is hilarious. Like, so much so I've literally been contemplating, like, do I need to make a video on this? Like, this is not the type of videos that I need to make, but so many people have asked me. I've literally considered it. But anyway, but I hate to say this, but this sounds a lot of like kind of narky relationship behavior, because here's the thing. What happens in situations like this is that on the outside, like if you are married to a person who's narky, right? Or is a narcissist, has NPD, whatever the case, you know what I'm saying? Or has antisocial personality disorder, because that's pretty much the diagnosis that I've come up with was, speaking about the Risa Tisa thing, I've come up with antisocial personality disorder with comorbid narcissism. Just throwing that out there in case you wanted to know. Okay, moving right along. Anyway, but whenever you're in a relationship with someone who's narky, the relationship has a tendency on the outside to look like perfection. Hence what it is that I'm picking up on from our overall energy being the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse, and our past influence being the 10 of Cups in the reverse, right? So that veneer is more or less shattered. Now, when we're coming into the 7 of Wands and Taurus more or less feeling attacked, so like a lot of people giving opinions, it's like, oh my gosh, it's not that bad. Like, you should be so grateful. Like, you have somebody, right? That's something that happens on a regular basis with people who are in, narc. I don't even want to say the word. One of my videos that I said narky, and I mean the actual word, and I use the, I don't even know, what is the YouTube word for the A word, misuse. Let's just say that, the word's not misuse, but it sounds like that. But anyway, one of my videos got demonetized because I said that. So anywho, but when you're in a relationship such as that, a lot of times people on the outside looking in, they're not seeing that happen, because a lot of the stuff is happening like behind the scenes. So it looks almost like you're being a ninny baby. You know what I'm saying? And you're making a big deal out of nothing, and like you're complaining about tiny things, because a lot of people who are victims of that, it's hard for them to verbalize what it is that actually happened, or there's a level of embarrassment because it's like you feel silly that you allowed something like that to happen. So that Risa Tisa situation actually is like, that's why I love that she did that, because that's been a teaching tool for me for like ever since it came out. Like it's been a teaching model to show the progression of how stuff like this works, and a lot of times how people feel being in situations such as that, but it's more or less like Taurus feeling like attacked. And a lot of times it's probably because people have no idea what's actually going on and they just feel like you're being ungrateful in a sense. Now, this is a whole thing. The above energy being the 9 of Wands in the reverse. This is literally a person who's like in misusive relationship, dude, because with this 9 of Wands in the reverse, that's my PTSD card. This is looking like, I'm just going to start calling the 9 of Wands in the reverse the complex PTSD card. It's like this is something that you've been through before, and it's almost like this is triggering. And the narrative I'm hearing is literally like somebody who was misused as a child, and you coming out and saying that this happened to you, and it's like no one believes you, and it's almost like being re-traumatized again with saying like I'm gonna leave this person, and it's almost like feeling by yourself because no one is like being supportive, you know. So with this 7 of Swords being in your hidden influence, that's more okay. That kind of makes sense here. Okay, thank you guys. That this makes sense. So literally, for this Taurus person, I'm gonna catch all up to everything it is that they just caught me up on. With the Tower card, that's one of my favorite cards in a tarot deck. I always say that this is whenever the Tower happens, why like I'm not afraid of it is because the Tower is when spirit is saving us from ourselves, right? Because how it is that we're going about something isn't necessarily in our best interest, right? Because you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. So more or less, Taurus gets in survival mode. I need to get out of this situation. I need to get out of this situation. And because you're so caught in that headspace, it's almost as if you're getting completely like off track in the sense of like thinking about all these different dynamics. That's what brings us back to what I was saying in the beginning of like either you've underestimated like the level of danger of the person that you're leaving, because if you don't know, a little, you know, DV statistic here, the most like scary time for a person is when you're planning to leave like a DV type of situation. Like that's the most dangerous time, like when people are literally in danger for real, you know. But it's almost like this fixation on I need to get out of this because I've had enough of this, you know. That's what I was saying about you feel as if you've crossed every T and dotted every I, but because of this hyper focus to get out of the situation, that there's certain things that have been left undone, or you've underestimated this person or underestimated like what your kid's reaction would be type of deal. Because it literally sounds to me like one of those things of like, you know, I want dad, and then like dad calls and then kid answers the phone and it's like, hey buddy, where are you at? Oh, we're at mommy's new house. You know what I'm saying? Because the parent has not informed the kids of the situation, especially if this is a situation where it's like a dangerous type of thing. And it's like, oh, well, where are you guys at? It's like, oh, you know, it's on the other side of town, you know, around the mall. You know what I'm saying? So you have this kid and it's not the child's fault because the kid doesn't know any better, but it's just the fact that they've been left in the dark of what the situation is. And then poof, pow, surprise. Now, you know, dad has the address. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of something like that. I feel slipping through the cracks, but it's like, this is exacerbated by Taurus being triggered by other people's reactions or opinions about what it is that you're doing. And I feel that's really what the driving force is, to where we have this Magician in the reverse and the 7 of Swords. So literally what to watch out for and what's in your hidden influence is like this sneaky kind of energy. And I have to say it these two different ways, right? Because what I just gave the scenario for is one side of this. So on one side of this Taurus, this Tower is happening to save you from yourself, because it's kind of to pause you, to get you to kind of look back and see what, you know, where there's holes in your plan, right? To be able to kind of patch those up to move forward. So that doesn't end up becoming an issue, like I said, with the whole scenario with the kid, right? Because I don't know, it feels like it's so much of a focus on stealthness, you know what I'm saying? And not, you know, being seen, or this person not knowing. That's how stuff is getting left behind. Now, on the other side of this, and this is more of like a smaller kind of percentage, it's well, it's kind of the same thing as the other, but just in a different perspective. It's speaking to this underestimation of just how manipulative this person is. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those things where everyone around you is saying, like, oh my gosh, this person is so dangerous. And you're like, oh, they'd never hurt me. Like, they'd never do this. They'd never do that. And it's like, yeah, but you've never been in a situation like this to where you've just like up and left this person type of deal. And I feel like there's a need to almost kind of heed that and to be cautious, with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like on two sides of it, it's like on two sides of it, Taurus, and I have to say this because this is getting super long. But on two sides of this, on one side, Taurus, with the whole kid situation, you have to make sure that what your plans are moving forward, that you're not just thinking about yourself in all of this. You know what I'm saying? Like being so focused on this stealthness and this hidden veneer, you know what I'm saying, and sneaking out the back door, that you're not considering how it is that this is gonna affect your kids. Now, mind you, when I'm saying that, I'm not saying, oh my gosh, you leaving their dad and how that's gonna affect them. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying in the context of being realistic about how, as an adult, we can see our partner as a shit human being. We can see our marriage as a shit marriage, right? But to a little kid, little kids don't feel the way about their parental figure the way that an adult does about their spouse. You know what I'm saying? Like mom can think dad's a shit human being, dad can think mom is a shit human being, but the kid is like, mommy, daddy, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially smaller kids, it's like they don't see fault. You know what I'm saying? So it's being consciously aware of how that would affect the kid and to just be prepared for that if this is a situation where it is that you have to leave. You feel what I'm saying? Child, oh God, I've been in this energy too long because I'm picking up on so much stuff. I'm just gonna say that that's like a whole nother thing. But I heard it and I'm gonna say it in a second. But yeah, just be mindful of that, of because it's almost like getting imbalanced in your energy where you're too fixated on one thing. Others of you, I feel like it's going to be course corrected on its own. So it's like this hiccup that happens in the month of March. Don't see it as like a deterrent. It's just more or less like a sign of telling you, hey, we need to go back and, cross these T's and dot these I's. Now, this is probably going to be one person in America, but I heard it, so I'm going to say it. If this is a person, so this would be a Taurus person that's married, and this person can have kids or not. It kind of does feel still like they have kids, but it's like some type of little affair type of situation going on. So you've been having issues in your marriage with your person. You've been over it. You're not in love with them anymore, but there's a person that you've been talking to on the side, right? And prior to dealing with this person, you really didn't have intentions necessarily on leaving your partner. Like you may have wanted to leave them, but you didn't have any like active plans of leaving this person that you're with, right? But the thing that kind of fast tracked that was this person that you're talking to. So they're the ones who kind of put the thoughts in motion of you wanting to leave this person because, what it is that they seem like. Like this person seems to be everything that your partner is not, and like what you feel you deserve. But the heads up with this, and this very well could go into what this tower may be for you all, which is why if that is the situation, you really need to be extra cautious because this can like bite you in the ass 2 times. I feel the person that you're talking to on the side really isn't what, like how they're perceiving themselves to be. because they literally seem like the ideal person, and I feel that they're not. And I feel coming into the month of March, you're going to get a little sign of that, and it's up to you to take that or not, because it's like a monkey bar situation. You're in this less than stellar situation, you were willing to put up with it, but then you meet this person and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I want to get a divorce, because it's literally thinking that going to be with this person, you're going to live happily ever after, and you're literally not. It's like you're going to get some sort of sign of the truth of this person, because I feel like this person really isn't much different than the person that you're with right now, to be quite honest with you. And if you were to, leave the person that you're with thinking that you guys are going to ride off into the sunset, that's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's like almost one of those situations where the person would be like, you knew what this was. It's kind of like y'all would just be smashing, and the Taurus person is thinking that y'all are actually in love, and like this person wants to marry you, spend the rest of their life with you, take on your kids, be a stepmom, be a stepdad, whatever the case. And that's not at all the case. It's more or less them feeling this situation as it is ideal, because I don't know if they're in another, like if they're married, you know what I'm saying? Or if they're single, it's like you being married makes the situation ideal for them. And it's kind of like a fantasy type of thing when the two of you are together, but the person really doesn't have any intentions on actually being with you long term. So it's kind of like if you decided to leave your partner, they would be like, well, I'm not leaving mine, or like, I'm not marrying you type of thing. So that's a little side message to watch out for. So kind of be mindful of that, but I do feel like this month you're going to get a sign of that, dude. This is something. This is, I felt a way in January, but Taurus, this one takes the cake. This officially this takes the cake. I like, y'all gonna have to let me know in the comments, because I am jealous at the fact that they got Tauruses out here with lives that are this fascinating. Like, I am so boring. My life is so boring, y'all. Like, this is tea. I would love to be the Taurus where this was happening to someone like me, because I would be sitting there like, girl, what happened? For real? Wow. So I can live vicariously through the drama. Oh my goodness. So the oracle card that came out for you guys is anxiety. Let's see if that's going to be clear. It says excessive or persistent worry and fear, unrest, foreboding, and restlessness. I feel like that's a forewarning to all of this, especially those of you to where this, like, you got like the little side piece or whatever. Like, I feel that heavily. It's all like, it's the energy that I'm feeling. It's like a foreboding feeling, in the sense that something is telling you something is wrong here. But I feel that's kind of like the heads up for a lot of you guys. It's like something inside you feels off, but I feel that's something that's telling you the foretelling of this tower. And that's telling you that, like I was saying, you need to cross your T's and dot your I's. Then we have depletion, stalled, drained, low, burnout, empty, exhaustion, no motivation. That's understandable. I mean, I get it. Like I said, I don't feel like, for anyone, I don't feel like this is a Taurus who is screwing over, even with the person with the side piece. I don't feel like in any scenario that this is a Taurus person that's with a good person. Like, I feel like the person that you're with is not, they're not a good person. You know what I'm saying? They don't treat you well. So this isn't like a Taurus person who's screwing over someone who's like, America's sweetheart over here or anything. But it's like with this burnout, that's like this constancy card. It's like, yeah, there has been long suffering, but the thing is, it's like, just don't rush it, and don't be irrational, because I feel like this could turn out a lot worse than you think. And the last card I pulled is lessons. And it says the chance for reflection and revision in a situation, a lesson to be learned, to make changes towards your personal growth and path, opportunity to gain a clear idea of what is called for to be true to yourself and your needs. Absolutely. Like, I feel the big takeaway from this, Taurus, and this has been an interesting reading, child. If y'all are still here, congratulations to you. I don't know what to name this. Y'all gonna have to tell me what y'all think in the comments, because I am flabbergasted, literally. But all of this, I feel that's what the message of this whole reading is saying. It's like, it's having tunnel vision, but there's a need to slow down, because there's nothing wrong with what your end goal is, or what, you know, your intention is to get out of this particular situation. But there's a dire need to be cautious and careful with it, and paying attention to things like that anxiety. You feel what I'm saying? It's like that's trying to warn you about how it is that you're moving forward with this, because if you don't turn, like, if you turn a blind eye away from this, it could end up biting you in the butt later on. So don't get so fixated on the end goal that you're not, you know, that you're kind of being sloppy with how it is that you're moving forward, especially if this is like a dangerous situation. You feel what I'm saying? But anywho, Taurus, that has been your soul session for the month of March. Most definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I am dying to know. Whenever stuff like this comes out, it's like I always want to put like a story to what it is that I'm seeing, and you guys have been doing super great jobs of that. Like, I've been trying to answer back all of the comments, but you guys have been telling me things that have been happening in the comments, and I've been flabbergasted, literally. So definitely let me know in the comments. But I will see you guys sooner than later, my friends. I love your